Right guys, I'm just doing a quick sort of anti-depression style shoot, and I have used someone else's idea, but theirs was a single apple and it was a reflection in the mirror, and I thought that's brilliant, that's really cool, but I wonder if I can elaborate on it slightly differently. And my thoughts were, we all have a group of friends. You have your little, your sort of best mates, your sort of close group of friends, maybe 5, 6 people. So these are our friends, 6 people, just on average. And I thought, do I really know if one of my friends is suffering from some kind of depression? And obviously from this side of the mirror, everyone looks happy, everyone looks lovely, but on this side of the mirror, it's showing a scar and someone obviously suffering. So that's the whole basic of it. So basically the original shot was just the single apple, like so. Let's put it on slightly cleaner, but it's not marked. But basically it was that one apple, and you be kind. You don't know what people are suffering inside or what's happened to people in the past. So that's the idea about it. But I just thought, what, we could possibly elaborate on the original idea and go from there. So that was my idea anyway. So just more apples, your group of friends. So obviously everyone can suffer in the long term, through their life at any moment in time, really. Bad things can happen, things can be triggered, blah blah blah. So obviously look after your friends and also your family as well. Obviously that could be the 6 members of the family or whatever. It's just an example. So anyway guys, that's it really. Okay, and this shot here is the individual apple. So as you can see here, I've got my focus point on the lower apple, but I can obviously move it up to that one. There you go. So what I'm going to do is actually going to do 2 shots, one of that apple in focus and then the reflection in focus. So I'm utilising the Sony A7riv Sony, and I'm using the 90mm macro. Also got my Rotolight EOS there as well. I've got my flash triggers, the Pixel Pro flash triggers, but not actually using them, I'm just using continuous lighting. As you can see there, f13, so as much depth as I possibly can without losing any sharpness. 0.6 of a second shutter speed, ISO 100, so super clean shots. It should, hopefully, look pretty good. Okay, and what we're doing is just actually having a piece of paper there just to give us a bit of a reflection. There we go. As you can see the difference, bring the light in, just reflecting off a piece of paper. There you go. So don't need anything too high tech. It's just a shame we've got a stain that's basically on the lacquer. Can't get it off, but I've just moved along a little bit. Right, so we're going to do a basic edit now. So basically I'm dragging in 2 images, which are the 2 that I want to use. So 2 shots there, but as you can see the focus points are different. So in focus here, a little bit out here, but it gives me the depth that I needed to get the image looking right. The only real trouble I had was to do with static. As you can see, there's dust everywhere. I'd clean this, and I cleaned it, but by the time you've set everything back up again, dust is then falling. It's just obviously in the air, it's in the cloth. So not 100, it's not the end of the world, but I did clean it up a little bit afterwards. So basic images. So basically I've already adjusted the images as I wanted them. As you can see here on the right hand side. As you can see here, basically what we're going to do is we're actually going to open both those images. So we're going to basically, what you do is actually highlight them both. So on a PC, control, and then click on one of them that's not already highlighted. So for example, if that one's highlighted, you then click on that one with the control button, right click, and you click sync settings. So basically you can choose on whatever you want to actually be the same in the same image, basically, or both images rather. Once that's done, you then click open,
build up the two images. So that's the first image, and that's the next image. As you can see, clearly different focal areas. And what we really need to do is actually merge these images. So what we're going to do is File. This is the way I do it. There's probably other ways of doing it. Go to Script. You go Load Files into Stack. Once you're in this area here, you then click on Add Open Files. You can see them both there. You can go Attempt to automatically align the source images. You can get it to create a smart object if you want, but I'm just leaving it as is. Click OK, and then suddenly both images will be together. There we go. There's a slight change in the area around the picture. It's obviously slightly out where the tripod was on the carpet, so it may have moved very slightly between the two images. You then go up to your layers up here on the right hand side, Control again, click on that one so both are highlighted. We then go over to Edit, and then we click on Auto Align just to double check that it's the same. Sometimes it gets it a little bit wrong. There you go, it looks exactly the same, so it's good. Back to Edit, and then Auto Blend Layers. There we go. Here's a stack. You can go content aware fill, but I just leave it and then just crop a little bit if need be, which we will do because it will have a slight difference. And then you'll suddenly see the bottom section of apples suddenly become clear. So basically everything now is in focus. So we've got depth here and depth here. As you can see, here's a few marks and everything that we've got to worry about. And the easiest way, and unfortunately it's a time consuming thing, is basically, we need to flatten the image first. Go to Layer, Flatten Image, and then just using the spot healing brush, it's a case of just going around and just get rid of the majority of them. The ones that actually jump out at you, bright white or whatever. And there's a slight hair or something there out of shot, but it could just be a reflection. But you know, it's a case of, like you can see there, they jump out at you a little bit. It's a far from perfect image, but all it took me was 5 or 6 minutes to do. Taking inspiration from someone else, well, saying from someone else, from quite a few different shots. There was quite a few other images have been taken using an apple or a fruit of some sort as an illustration. So it does work quite well, but not with multiple. So I've only seen it with like two, maybe up to 2 apples. But I thought, you know, I'm going to use 6, and just try and show, you know, this could be a group of friends kind of thing, and you know that one person is just hiding some sadness and depression somewhere. But you know, anyway, so basically this is how we can get rid of it. So you know, just get rid of just by, it's time consuming. This is where sometimes the the editing can take a while. I'm not going to do all this one, but as you can see here, there's quite a bit on the mirror, and it's a lot of it's just the light, the way it's angled, because I was shooting the light from one side, because at the time I couldn't actually get the light above, sadly, looking down, because there just wasn't enough room. It's not always, you know, in your hands, but then I also wanted a better shadowing to give it a 3D feel, to actually really give you the shape of the apples, because if I was just shooting straight down, it could have caused a very boring looking image. As you can see here, the mirror's actually got tapered bits on it, so it actually gives you a couple of reflections there, yeah, different as well. Other than that, it's not bad. We've got a lacquer stain here, but actually what you can do is literally just using the same brush, you can actually get rid of most of it as you do it, and it's actually pretty good at doing it. Like I said, there's going to be other ways of doing this. Photoshop is an amazing tool, and there's obviously other editing software out there that is also amazing. But it's whatever you know, whatever you have learnt to use, and whatever you own, really. So, as you say, as you zoom out, it's not really an issue. What we'll do is then crop slightly. I didn't use the content aware to fill it up really, because I did want to crop in very slightly anyway. There we go. Other than that, it's a case of just tidying it up a little bit. But the exposure is pretty good. Utilising that piece of card to one side just to bounce a bit of light on the side of this apple just to bring the shape out. But that's pretty much it really. And then you just save it as a PSD if you want to hold a copy of it with the layers and everything before you flatten it. Other than that, you know, just save it as a JPEG or a TIFF or whatever you need to use. Then obviously you can add text over the top if you want to, which I have obviously. But it's as simple as that. The other shot with a single apple didn't really work, unfortunately, as well as I was hoping. I was going to use it as a demonstration piece because I don't have a copy of the one I actually saw, which was in an oval mirror. It showed the actual whole oval mirror. This mirror here I was using was actually very big, so you could only utilise a little bit of it down the bottom. But I think it still has the same sort of impact, and it's obviously a message that it hopefully make some people think. But as you can see, you know, I've got to go and do a bit more editing on this, and then it'll look relatively clean and usable. So you know, there's another way of actually getting rid of some of the look of the dust, which is just darken the image down a little bit. It sort of just disappears. You know, sort of you don't really notice it much. Like I say, you know, the problem with dust is it's apparent. It's in the air all the time. Doesn't matter where you are, unless you're in a completely filtered room. There's always going to be dust in the air, especially when you wipe a surface. You create static, so you know dust is then going to be attracted back to where you have just wiped. Even if you use a spray and everything, it's still going to come back. You know, so that's one issue. You've got to be, you know, cautious of. Obviously, depending on what lighting you're using, I was just using one light, but because it was from an angle, you're really going to notice it, especially on a mirror as well. It's never easy. So, but yeah, it was literally just a thought, and also obviously a positive message. The other thing is, I think photography as a whole is an amazing tool to help people with depression. So, you know, taking photos and going out with other people, even if it's on your own, it's relaxing. You know, it takes your mind off things because you're concentrating on being creative. And it could be with your mobile phone. You don't have to have an expensive camera. You can, you know, change the way you are by, you know, experimenting, taking photos. Today, photos cost nothing. Once you own a camera or a mobile phone, you can take photos as long as you like, you know, and experiment with other things, you know. And that's one reason I love it, because, you know, I find it relaxing. I might be doing a job, but, you know, if I'm out doing some portraiture with someone, or if I'm doing, like, for example, this, you know, the creativity side of things, it just really makes me happy, and I feel really good about, you know, what I've actually accomplished. So, you know, maybe have a think. If you actually enjoy taking photos, maybe push it up a little bit, you know, maybe go out for a walk and take more photos. And, you know, if anybody needs any advice on buying a camera, if you want to buy a camera or anything like that, send me a message. But obviously plenty of reviews and other videos online as well. Yeah, anyway guys, don't forget to click the subscribe button and little notification bell, and I hope this has helped some people, and hopefully maybe inspired some people to get out with a camera and you know, get creative and enjoy what you do. The world out there is a beautiful place, you know, and we need to make the most of that. So yeah, so anyway, I shall see you soon.